because that ponytail was cute, but I need to scratch my scalp. So, without further ado, let's get into today's word. I want to thank you all for being here, joining me, and always showing up and showing out and being your beautiful best self. I also want to say thank you guys so much for always participating in everything that speaks higher knowledge and individualism. Yes, we are part of a big old group of individual spirits, but we have the right to break away and do our own thing because a lot of the times these spirits don't understand how codependency is the reason why they're stuck in their cycle. So, again, thank you guys for wanting to assist with me breaking out of my own codependency that I experienced for a few years and, being wonderful vessels of the transition when it comes to wanting to be self-reliant versus relying on everything around you. Okay. And of course, we do need everything around us. That's why it is an ecosystem. But there are certain aspects of the ecosystem that do individualize themselves. Eagles don't even run in packs. They only come together for mating and child rearing. They don't run, and you don't see a group of like 20 eagles in the sky. It's usually like one or two. They fly the highest of all the birds for a reason. So, thank you all for being a part of that collective. To understand that if you don't fuck around with me, you don't gotta find out. Just stay the fuck out of my house. If I gradually tell you no thank you, back up from my door, and you still keep pushing the door, then I got the right to now shoot you in your fucking face. Period. Like, I told you leave me alone. I said get out my face. You kept capping on. Okay. Boom. Motherfucker, like boom. Like, what the fuck? Get out my face. All right. So today's date is January 16th. It says, be happy. The Lord is my strength and song. He has become my salvation. The voice of rejoicing and the salvation in its tents and private dwellings of the uncompromisingly righteous. The right hand of the Lord does valiantly achieve strength. Right? Psalm 118, 14 through 15. Happiness is the result of radical, outrageous relationship with God. If we want to walk in victory, we have to put some time into our relationship with the Lord. There is much to discover about His plans for us. Our contentment won't last if we are not obeying God by seeking Him with our whole heart. God wants us to really talk to Him and pay attention to His answers. Spend enough time with Him this morning to walk in victory all day. So today, when I woke up, I felt like I was completely at peace. Today, when I woke up, I felt like my whole body wasn't hurting. I felt like so at ease. I felt like the whole body felt good. The whole body felt amazing. The issue at hand excuse me. I fell into an old cycle and I thought about an old friend. I think I watched a tarot video or something. But I thought about somebody else. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this his energy? And then as soon as I thought about that, I started getting a hot flash. I was like, oh shoot. I realized that my mind is a vehicle that takes me to different dimensions, right? And if you know that someone lives in a dimension that it might be their heaven, but to you, it's just not your frequency. It might feel like hell to you, right? Because everywhere that we go is a mental state or frequency. If someone has found their rhythm and their happiness, and it doesn't make you happy to be there, when you go there, you're not going to be happy in that space. They've already created their heaven on earth. You keep trying to go there, you don't fit there. Does that make sense? Oh, see, I got a triangle today. Interesting. What's up, you guys? So at the point where you realize, like, okay, this person, I love them, I like them, I appreciate them, but we don't see eye to eye. Literally, our third eyes can't touch and find a common ground. That's when you have to move around. Now, to not focus on the past, but focus on the future, they say spend some time with God this morning. So I was like, instead of me watching my typical videos and stuff that I usually watch on the internet, let me sit down and watch, or rather be quiet and watch myself. Okay, FunTube, I'm going to quickly answer your question. There is no third eye. Okay, there definitely is a third eye. Hold on one second. Okay, excuse me, guys. There's a 13-year-old in my house. So if you're coming on here with some weird-ass energy and you're being a pervert, please get the hell out of my house. Don't come in here with that sexual energy. I got a kid in my house, and I'm not playing with you guys. Like, if you're going to be a perv, get off my live right now. I'm not here for that. I'm not one of the OnlyFans girls. I don't do that shit. I don't know what they showing you. I don't want that. So if that's what you're giving, just get the fuck off my plate. Like, get the fuck off the internet with me right now. I'm not an OnlyFans girl. I don't do that. There's no OnlyFans over here. It's no OnlyFans over here. I don't even want that kind of attention over here. I have a 13-year-old kid in the house. Get the fuck on. If it's giving OnlyFans energy, please get the fuck on. Respectfully. Thank you. Now, FunTube, okay. When you say there's no third eye, they actually dissected the brain of a goat, right? Which is a brain that's closely resembling to the human's brain. Right where there's usually supposed to be a third eye at, when you dissect it, there's actually the shape of an eyeball right there. I'm bending down because I can't be seen on camera. Matter of fact, let me look at my tripod so I can sit up straight. Okay. No one said that. It's just like the energy that be coming through is sometimes y'all don't realize it, but y'all got sexualized energy, or y'all are very like hypersexual, and the energy comes off as disgusting. Like, I don't want, just because you think I'm beautiful, that doesn't mean that gives you access to just penetrate my anus. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand being an adult and being, you know, grown and sharing energy, but like, just because you think I'm beautiful don't give you the access to my body to just make certain things vibrate in certain areas, like certain nerve endings. Women of God don't want to be sexualized. Exactly. I don't want to be sexualized. Like, I'm not here to be your sex toy. Like, you saying one thing, but I feel another thing. So it's like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not tweaking. What I feel in my body is what I feel, and I got a 13-year-old in my house. I got a child that I share space with. So when y'all coming on here acting disrespectful, y'all disrespecting a man, a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was a little boy that used to be at your mama's house, right? So when your mama had guests over, no matter how many guests was over, you didn't want them to be putting their fucking energy all up in your ass, did you? I'm just saying. So anyways, with the goat's brain, when they dissected the goat's brain, where the third eye is supposed to be located at, when you split it open, it actually looks like an actual eyeball there. So what you have to do in order to help activate your third eye, you have to imagine, like, this space right here. You see how my eye, well, let me see if I can show y'all with the light. Okay, you see how the forehead kind of, okay, so there's the third eye right here, right? The first third eye. But then I have these things that go up like this. These little wings that come up here like this, right? Now, some people, they have it like, I think y'all still see hers? I'm not fucking with her today. Long story short, this area right here looks like an eyeball. For me personally, I have this beauty mark on my forehead I've had since I was a kid, right? That's like my pupil. So right there is where, that's the sixth eye when it comes to the different eyeballs and the different levels of spiritual awareness. I was born at the sixth eye level. I was born there. You know, my parents had already achieved certain levels of spiritual knowledge before they had me. So I was marked to know that I come straight from this area. So when it comes to the third eye, this is an eyeball. This whole thing right here is an eyeball. You see how this part pops out of the forehead? Like you see this dent right here and it curves up right here. All of this is an eye. And if you understand it about your forehead, it help you understand like moving forward, getting forward. Like a lot of us will feel stagnated or feel like we have headaches and be like, why do I have such a bad migraine? It's because people are starting to see that your third eye is open and somebody will do what they need to do to block it. People will hex you. You know, imagine that you can see a brain and you start imagining a number 3 sticking in the front of somebody's brain and the other side, the other one, like the middle parts of the 3 sticking on the sides of the brain. And then the back of the brain sticking like this. Because there's the third eye, the pineal gland or the third eye goes straight through the brain. So there's a part in the back of the brain that also looks like a little tuning fork. So, but isn't that like Illuminati thing, like the dollar with one eye? No, that's like an Egyptian thing. That's like original sacred knowledge thing. Because when you look at the different shapes in the brain, it actually resembles different things. So let me see, did I screenshot that picture? Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all something. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, so the third eye, I'll show you what it looks like from the front of the brain. All right, you ready? So the front of your brain, if you were looking at your brain from the front, it looks like this. You see that little thing right there in the front that looks like 2 eyebrows? If we're looking right over there, that's the front of your real brain. That's really what your brain looked like in real time. Like it's really a eye right there. It's really a space where energy can come in and out. So me, I'm marked there, right? So I have these 2 other beauty marks on my fingers, which goes with your subconscious eye, because your subconscious eye is here. And then you have another eye on the tip of your nose, which when you activate your Merkaba, you understand your nose, which is why they shot the nose off the Egyptian temples, helps you directionally move around. So, all right, so now we're at my actual consciousness level. This is actually where my brain resonates and where I'm usually at. It's not alongside everybody else, but this is where I typically sit at mentally when I'm in my own space and I don't have people or energies on top of my brain trying to push me down spiritually, all of that weird shit that goes on in the world. So this little pocket right here is where I just shot the energy out of, because when you understand that your spinal cord goes from your root all the way up your spine and the energy can travel straight through that hole right there, that's why I can do what I can do. That's what that is. Okay? So the front of your brain, when you see this picture right here, if you blur your vision, if you know how to blur your vision, because I know how to blur my vision on command, like right now, I just made my vision blurry. I can make my vision blurry. When you make your vision blurry and you look at this picture right here, it looks like a bull with a ring in the nose, right? Y'all see it? The bull horns with the ring in the nose. It represents the front of the brain, the ring in the nose. Y'all see the resemblance? So when you get mad at people for having a septum, it's because they actually understand the inner workings of their brain and what it looks like. And pictures that have been painted with God and Jesus on the top of the crown, right? But there's a bull with a ring in the nose right there. Okay, there's a bull with the ring in the nose right there. That's your brain. Yeah, why do you think your nose looks like a face? If you cover this up, it looks like 2 eyeballs and a mouth. Higher and lower self. So even in this picture, you'll see the same thing down here. Another bull with the crown of God and the nose all over again. You'll see the mother and the father seated in the brain. So your masculine and feminine energy seated in your brain. Your mother on one side, your left side of your brain, your father on the right side of your brain. They're seated in the brain, in the mind, in the consciousness. You get true harmony when you divinely balance your mother and your father energy in your brain, forgiving them for all of their sins, forgiving them for everything. Red bull, blue bull. Yeah. This is a picture of your brain. How is this crazy? It's literally your brain. So everyone knows that masculine energy is on one side and feminine energy is on the other side. When you balance those two energies, that's when you truly can get to heaven on earth, Kundalini energy. So the bull, which was my last relationship, a Taurus, it came at the appropriate time. I don't necessarily like the person and the lessons that I had to learn through the person, but it brought you to the understanding, like when you understand, you see the bull on the front of the brain? When you understand that concept and you understand the ring, it helps you understand how you can truly maneuver your energy. I saw a theory saying the Bible is an allegorical story for the human mind. It exactly is. If you close your eyes, you can smell and see through your nose. I can smell and see through my nose with my eyes open. That's how I know whose spirits are bad. Some people's spirits smell like shit and other people's spirits smell like candy. And that's the truth. Some people's spirits really smell like shit and trash and other people's spirits really smell like candy. This is not my art, but that is our brain. And it resembles exactly what all the different pictures are saying. The bull, the mother and the father, the balance. All right, well, if you can't see anything, we're just going to remove you from class because you're just distracting the class. We're going to let you go to special ed since you can't see it, what's obviously in front of you. Okay? There's a reason why a lot of people during COVID lost their sense of smell and some people lost their sense of taste. So, yeah, a lot of stuff is spiritual because when the spiritual veil was lifted and COVID happened to most people lost their ability to smell, which is a spiritual gift. Because your nervous system and your spirit and your energy all goes hand in hand. If energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and we know that when we die, we turn into spirits, which is the energy without the body. And essentially during COVID-19, that's when we made our transition into our more spiritual selves. If some people lost their sense of taste and smell, that means they lost their spiritual. Less voodoo, more science. Science is the explanation of quantum physics. Voodoo is the manipulation of energy spiritually through spiritual knowledge. That's why voodoo works. Voodoo works because voodoo is real, because voodoo is relative to quantum physics. I just saw somebody in my room spiritually. My third eye opened up. It was somebody sitting in their boxers trying to whack away spirits. They would sit on the ground trying to smack spirits out of their face. Like, I see a lot of different stuff. Divination is real. The gift to be able to see is real. A lot of people play with it. That's why people can taunt and torment you. Like I said, a lot of people can taunt and torment you, depending on how weak your mind is. But y'all see the bull. I don't have to lie about it. Y'all see the eye at the front of the brain. And y'all see the mother and the father pictured there in the shape of the brain around it, and how that would be relative to, your grandparents being at your cerebellum, pushing the whole entire thing forward. So, all right. Let's move on to the next picture. We got the hand of God reaching out spiritually, that picture, and what it also looks like, the brain moving in action. Trying to reach down to the people. Like I said, when I get my brain in motion and I can push it forward and I feel that energy pushing forward, that's a godly thing. Again, the Bible is an allegory of the human mind. So the stem of the brain being the throne of God. How all these pictures just so happen to be painted in a manner that, again, a allegory to the brain. As much as I could take you with me, I can't force you to go with me. If you don't want to listen, I'm just going to sit here and just turn off the floodgates, honestly. It's not that deep. Also, they have the throne of God, the inside of the brain, the pineal gland, the pots, the pons, all of that stuff, the medulla oblongata. You abuse your medulla oblongata. My pituitary gland ruptured. Now I can hear and see strangers. No, the ice wall is really just limiting you from more space. Like, if you imagine the Earth had a circle and we thought that planet Earth was just planet Earth, but then there was like more land past it, and you could hop over the ice wall, you then feel your consciousness expand. It's crazy when you just think bigger. Like, okay, if Earth is this circle and the circle around Earth is actually just the ice wall, but there's more land. Oh shit. Hold up, wait a minute. Yeah. So, next picture. The cross section of the brain. How it looks like the Eye of Ra. A wonderful Egyptian sign. Again, back to the original eye. Right? So that eye at the top of the pyramid. Oh, the eye. We all believe in God, and God we trust. But the eyeball's at the top of the pyramid. To see through your third eye, again, like you see this, how this looks like. Oh, wait. Let me connect this to my eyeballs right quick. What shape does that make? Your eye is at the top of the pyramid. If you're not chosen, you would not understand. Exactly. Everybody not meant to understand it, because some people just meant to keep reincarnating and just be NPC background players, while the other people are really sitting here controlling the world and controlling the narrative and making shit really happen in the world. Everybody that don't understand or don't want to understand don't realize they're just a fucking character in the background, just filling up space, just having sex, just they're there to be manipulated because they don't know any better. You're literally here to be manipulated if you don't know that this shit is true. You're not a part of God's body if you don't believe that this stuff is true. Because if this information was passed down to us from thousands and thousands of years ago, and it's known to be true, and I'm showing you the resemblance of it in your anatomy, and showing you that you in fact are God, and there's actual relative information that's making you see that this is the same thing. And when you use these tools, you can control your autonomy and get more peace in yourself. If you don't believe that, you can't see it, then you're meant to be used, not to control. There's nothing wrong with being a character in the background. I don't think that there is, but I'm not going to be a character in the background if I don't have to be. Like, if I know that If I have spiritual markings on my body that pretty much let me know the map of spirituality before I even opened it or cracked open any of these books, I got markings all on my hands. I got markings, I got birthmarks on my womb space. Different constellations are popping up on my body. And have you, everybody that's in here, I have a 13-year-old in the house, so can you please be respectful with the energy? Yeah, close that up. Yeah, chill out. If it's a child in here, it's a child-friendly home. So, yeah, if you over here being disrespectful or trying to, there's no OnlyFans over here. No OnlyFans energy. I might be in my cosmic divine energy of being a woman and understanding what I am to the universe, but just because I look like that spiritually in a different facet doesn't mean that that's all I'm focused on. This womb, this portal right here, don't just come with being funny and being sexual, okay? Okay, we're not doing all this. It's a kid in here. It's a child in here, so relax. But see, I thought she wasn't crazy. I'm not crazy, but I can feel when I'm being opened up way beyond necessary means. Like, don't be asleep, you sitting here laughing. Okay, so when your mother had guests over, I see you was over there getting split sideways. Like, try to help the baby out. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me go tend to my son. Okay. The women are supposed to teach each other, woman, and nurse her children, not teach men. God says a woman to be silent. Yep, you crazy. No, I just had to go make sure my son didn't get left behind. If I'm sitting here moving at light speed, jet speed, I want to make sure my son is near to me. You're supposed to keep your kid close to you because there's people who are weird out here who will see that your kid is not being attended to, and they will sit here and spiritually try to do some shit to your kids. People getting ready for work behind me. These people behind me is getting ready for work. This is why I'm saying this kind of information is important to know and respect, because a lot of people are disrespectful to people's energy, not realizing that I'm a mother. I don't have time. Like, my son can spiritually see. So if I'm sitting on here on the internet with y'all and y'all are sitting here being sexualized with me, he's watching that and he's thinking that that's appropriate. So then he's going to do that to the next woman because he can see spiritually what's going on. Because his eyes are closed. He's sleeping, but he's not asleep. You understand? So I'm not going to sit here and be like entertaining her like, yeah, y'all, we y'all come on in the party. Like, don't come in this one. No, you here to sit outside the portal and hear what I have to say, and that's it. Well, we're not just talking about the Bible. We respect all religions over here, and the Bible was created only 2,000 years ago. Women been ruling the world since Egyptian times, long before the Bible existed. So I don't care what the Bible says, because the Bible was given to us by a white man during slavery. I don't care what the Bible has to say. It's an allegory for the brain. It's going to teach you about your brain. But I don't care, because all these pictures got white people in them. Not one of these people right here is black. Okay? And all the Bible and all the typical biblical and all the typical biblical. The Bible is not our history. The Bible is only 2,000 years old. What was going on before 2,000 years ago? The Bible don't have no record of it. So the Bible can't be my history. The Bible is an interpretation of my history, but it's not my history. Because Egypt came before the Bible. And Hinduism, I think, even might have came before that, if I'm not mistaken. Hinduism is the most original religion. And it talks about sex. The Shakti Shiva position is the main way to spirituality, because woman and man coming together to make a child and create is the actual act of God. That is what God is. God is a healthy marriage. This is why you see the seed of God has a woman and a man on it, because to truly have your brain balanced, you have to have a man and a woman to create another brain or a consciousness, because a woman and a man come together to create a child, which is a form of consciousness. I've read the Emerald Tablets. I've read the Quran is older than the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. And everything that's ancient Egyptian is definitely older than the Bible. And I definitely read a lot of Sacred Woman Journey books, and they always go into Egyptian temples and go get their research from out of the Egyptian temples, you know, stuff like that. I'm just very much into what came before Christianity. What was here long before they said Jesus had hair like sheep's wool. Like, what hair like sheep's wool? Because hair like sheep's wool look like this. Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake them. I ain't got none, but I'm planning on growing some. Imagine how the Hebrews felt, jumping on top of chariots and pulling tight ones. Dumb. Okay, I want to highlight who said that. DeAndre Pittman, I love what you just said there. I drove down to Alabama. I drove. And you want to know what I saw on the way down to Alabama when I drove, y'all? Pyramids every fucking where. We are surrounded by pyramids. You want to know why we're surrounded by pyramids? Because pyramids are portals or gateways into doing what? Y'all know? Pyramids are portals and gateways into channeling energy. That's why it says, in God we trust, with the pyramid on it and the eyeball. Because everyone's eyeball is how we gather energy. When you have everyone's eyeball looking at the same thing, paying attention to it, it's where the focus, if everyone's paying attention to money, that's what has the value, because we're all paying our attention. Our eye is all paying attention to the same thing. Y'all understand how we pay attention? Because attention is expensive to pay. Because like all the time that y'all are here on this live right now paying attention to me is bringing attention and energy into me, but it could be costing you your house chores. It could be costing you being late to work. It could be costing you time with your kid. It could be costing you time to do your laundry. When you're paying attention to something, it's taking your attention off of your own life. Now, what I'm giving you in this is valuable to you. So if you take this and you pay attention to me, you're gaining value from what I'm saying. I'm not teaching you anything where you can't gain value from it. There's that. You got a point. But you look young. I'm 32 years old with a 13-year-old. The eye represents being omnipresent. Yeah, that's my point. If we're saying the same thing, just saying it in different ways. His father's in prison. Why? Yeah, but God showed me a Bible, also the book of life. I saw Jesus Christ during my outer body experience. I saw him face to face. He was dark skinned and he was sitting on a throne. He had white hair. Funny you say that. My son actually recently had a dream where I jumped into a pool, he said. I took all my clothes off, I jumped into a pool, and a dude started beating me up. He was dark skinned and he had white hair. And my son said, stop beating her up. He said, anything for you, little man, but just know I beat the shit out of you too. So your belief system on Jesus and your higher power leads you to believe that Jesus is going to be on a throne with gold coming out of his crown or whatever. When it comes to religion, this is a thing that we need to understand. Every single religious background brings you a version of a person that you feel relative to, meaning you're going to get a version of a person that looks like you. That's why Buddhists, right, they get an Asian person. A Buddhist gets an Asian person. A Hindu person gets Shakti and Shiva, which look Indian. Black people, we get, oh wait, did y'all ever think about that? What do black people get when they get religion? Exactly. They whitewashed our religion and turned it into Jesus Christ. It made Jesus Christ white. Because when white people got religion, they got Jesus Christ white on the cross. They got God. They got these pictures, right? The white people. You see all them white people? I don't see not one black person on that page. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Every other religion has a God that looks like them but black people. Everyone that doesn't have a religion that was original to them follows a white Jesus. Hispanics are following a white Jesus. A lot of blacks are following a white Jesus. A lot of whites are following a white Jesus. But let me break something down for you. Asian people are following Buddha. Okay? Dalai Lama. The monks. Okay? Indian people are following Shakti, Shiva, Ganesh. They look Indian. People who have original knowledge and understand their power and usually are more powerful or more rich than all the other communities I mentioned follow an original Jesus, or rather God that looks like them. Let's go to ancient Egypt though. I'm trying to follow you. I'm trying to follow God. If I was you, if you would stay in line. What? All people supposed to look up to their father first. So let's go. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. God had feet of bronze, not feet of white, nor feet of brown. Bronze is more of an Arabic person. Let me teach y'all something about, before everybody get in the comments. Let me get y'all to realize something. The story of, who wants to go? What story should we do first? We're going to do God's story. We're going to do Jesus' first story. Okay. The story of Jesus Christ goes like this. Mary prayed in the garden and got pregnant by God, not by Joseph. Her and Joseph raised Jesus. Jesus sacrificed himself to be his father's sacrifice to the earth to save everybody. Let me tell you how similar that story sounds to this. Isis and Osiris came together and had a baby. Their baby's name was Horus. Horus was also sacrificed to give all of his organs to all these different people so that they could come together and be the body of Horus, the body of Christ, the body of Horus. Horus, Jesus, 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 Horus. Sounds very similar, right? The eye of Horus, the eye of God. Okay. Osiris actually ended up being dead. See, Osiris was brought back to life by Isis when she put his body back together and then made him a wooden penis and somehow conceived a kid immaculately. How do you conceive a kid through a wooden penis? So she immaculately conceived a child without an actual father or actual penis. So there was no sperm transfer. Her getting pregnant was completely spiritual. And that's the story of Isis and Osiris and Horus, which is the ancient Egyptian story. That's the focus. Right there. Did y'all know that about the story? No, it's the same thing as Mary getting pregnant by God. They never actually had sex. But she still got pregnant with Jesus. It's the same story. It's just taught differently. That's why the Bible is wrong, or the Bible is predated by Egyptian folklore. No, Jesus' story sounds like Horus's story because Egyptian story came first. It was written in the temples in Egypt long before Jesus or the Bible existed. So you believe in sun god, spirit, more than one God. Everything together collectively is God. So if I believe that the source of life, which is the sun, because anything that is alive needs the sun to live. There's not one thing on the planet that is alive that doesn't need the sun to live. Grass needs the sun, trees need the sun, birds need the sun, lettuce needs the sun, tomatoes need the sun. Everything that we grow that is live food needs the sun. So yeah, I'm going to believe in the sun being a god. So what on the planet do you know that's alive that doesn't need the sun? Besides fungus, things that cause decomposition. I'm just going to ask y'all to prove me wrong that the story of Horus and Egypt came before Jesus. Because they sound similar, right? How the woman didn't actually have sex with a man and got pregnant without sperm. It's the same fucking story. Thank you, Papa, for understanding. It's the same story. Do we still need the sun though? We got the moon still. We still survive. The moon only reflects the sun. Women reflect back to a man what he is. That's why the man is seen as the sun, which is masculine energy, and the moon is seen as feminine energy. That's why women's periods are usually aligned with the moon. See, you got to understand, we're really in alignment with nature. They took nature away and put us inside of a church and told us that that was the only way we could see God. That's why I can't stand your understanding, because it's like you're telling me the only way I can see God is if I go inside of your building, blocked away from the sun, blocked away from the grass, blocked away from the trees, blocked away from the birds. That's the only way I can get to know God, inside of a building that's cold and dark. But a pyramid, as we know, I'm gonna draw this out for y'all. A pyramid, which we scientifically and historically understand. No, these are not idols. These are not idols. These are people from, just like someone wrote the Bible, someone inscripted these pictures on the walls of pyramids. Just like someone wrote the Bible, someone wrote these pictures on the pyramid walls. You spit more than the 5%ers. Yeah, because the 5%ers don't really want anybody else. The 5%ers don't want the 99% to understand what the 1% know. That's why the 1% are in control. That's what everybody who's negating what I'm saying don't understand, that they're part of the 99%, and that's why they'll never control their own lives. That's why they'll never live for free. That's why they'll never be free from the system. That's why they'll always believe that the police have the right to pull them over. Anyone who's arguing with me believes that the police has the right to pull them over. And that's just facts. Anybody that's coming up against me just really believes that the police have the right to even enter their house without a warrant. Okay. So this is why we're not believing in idols, right? Because this is all science and this is all stuff that you can see in real time. This is stuff that's been shown to y'all in history books if y'all would read something besides the Bible. And I'm pretty sure most people who are arguing that the Bible is the truth hasn't even read the whole Bible. No, the police actually don't. There's a law, it's called USC 1581, and it actually says that peonage is illegal. And I'm actually going to finally do my part and be his spiritual lawyer and go argue that, because peonage is actually illegal. So holding anyone against their will is actually illegal. It's a U.S. code. It's the consumer law that they don't teach the regular population. They only teach the 5%ers. So actually, no, they don't have the right to incarcerate him. Go Google it. So here's a pyramid, right? Here's a pyramid from Egypt. What we don't understand about the pyramids in Egypt is right here is what you can see. This is all you can see, is this part of the pyramid. What people don't know is the pyramids are equally built to the same level underground as well, right? The pyramids, all right, get the fuck off my live, because you just talking shit. Because come on now, if I got moderators here, you see somebody talking down in the chat, just time them out. We ain't got time for the distractions. And be the same people every day. We only see this part of the pyramid, but the pyramids were known to have clear quartz at the top and clear quartz at the bottom. Do we understand why? Because they believed that the sun was a god. I'm going to show you why. The sun would rise and go through its different phases throughout the day, right? But at all times, the sun's light was refracting on that clear quartz, which would send light to this side. Then it would come here and send light to this side. Then it would finally be here and send light out. But then right when it would hit that highest peak, 12 p.m., the point where the sun is the highest of the day, 12 p.m., it would shine directly down onto the pyramid. And that light would shine down directly onto this quartz, and it would refract light every which direction. So at 12, it was known that everybody should eat their foods at 12 because the sun's energy was able to be harvested or worshipped at that time, because the sun came down and refracted and would go in every single direction at that time. This is why we had church bells and things like that, because the bells would signify you when it's time to do certain things. That's why they took away the bells, because the bells would reset people's energy. You realize that there's no more church bells ringing when you go through certain neighborhoods, unless they're like old-timey white people neighborhoods. Your average city doesn't have those bells that ring at 3, 6, 9, 12 anymore. It's because of the understanding that the ancient people knew, which was that the sun refracted down at 12, and the sun's light will refract out every single direction at the highest frequency all over the land in a 360 this way. In a 360 this way. It will refract down and then come out and then shine out to the whole land in a whole entire circumference this way. They understood mathematics on a higher level back then than we do today. So the sun was shining at the top of the pyramid at 12 to light the whole city. So everyone in the city knew to eat their food at 12. That's why when you do what? Intermittent fasting. What time are you supposed to eat when you do intermittent fasting? You're not supposed to eat till what time? 12, when the sun is at its highest point, so that you can activate your body and your body will be able to actually process and digest the food. Because break fast, you're not supposed to break fast. If you're going to break fast, you drink liquids until 12. 12 is the time where you're supposed to actually eat food, because your body's able to digest, because the sun's power is at its highest potential and you can actually process food at that time. Exactly why they stripped us of everything. Exactly. They stripped us of everything. And that's why people be so ignorant. They're actually sitting on this live arguing with me instead of like realizing like, hold on, this makes sense, but let me study it. Can y'all hear me now? I'm sorry, I gotta reconnect to the clear quartz crystal. I gotta reconnect to the clear quartz crystal in my phone, because y'all do know that the phone that you're on right now, watching me on, has clear quartz in it as well. But y'all do know that the phone that you're on right now also has a piece of clear quartz in it, just like our watches. That's why if you see a watch, it'll say quartz in it. So if this is the clear quartz, and our watches on our wrists have clear quartz, and our phones also have clear quartz in it, no, go look it up. Father Time, Father God. God is the determiner of all things. Time and infinity. When God says it's time for us to go, it's our time. Huh? Huh? When it's our time to go, God says it's not our time to go until God says it's our time to go. Father Time, Father God. I don't know how you don't think that this and God go hand in hand. If the sun keeps everything alive, it also creates the idea of time when refracted into quartz, its natural source, natural earth. Like, what you talking about? The reptilian part of the brain and the bigger, like, the different layers of the brain. So y'all might still be stuck in reptilian version of the brain, but I've already expanded my consciousness past my own mind. So yeah, when God says it's our time to go, it's our time to go. The clock, the grandfather clock, Father Time, respect your father. One must respect thy father and thy mother. It all goes hand in hand. I just don't see how y'all don't see it. The masculine energy is the sun. The feminine energy is the moon. Everything that you give a woman from a man is going to be reflected outwardly from that man. So if a man gives a woman trauma, she's going to reflect trauma into the world. A man gives a woman love, she's going to be a very loving person to the world. Man loves me, right? Y'all, I'm so excited to have y'all on my live today. I'm his reflection. I'm the land that he purchased, and he fertilized me with seeds, and then our nurturing love creates our children. Our seeds, our trees are our proof of our love, the test of our actual commitment to our covenant. Does that make sense at all? There's no such thing as time. The only thing that exists is now. That is true as well. But the idea of time came from quartz and the sun. I try to tell guys, you get treated how you treat real women. Yeah, exactly. Men be like, oh, you're this, you're that. I'm like, how have you been treating me? That would explain why you feel the way you feel around me and why you got to do what you got to do. The sun is life source energy. Exactly. Everything that's alive needs the sun. Plants need the sun. The trees need the sun. Let me teach y'all something else. Hold on. Most of the people in ancient times, in the pyramids, right? When you look at the pictures of the people in the pyramids, unfortunately, this book is drawn in black and white. I hate that. Right? But the people, sort of mold is in a book at, goddamn. I'm risking my life going back here to get this information, child. Knowing I'm allergic to mold. All right, I ain't even gotta prove it. Oh no, wait, here it is right here. What color these people in these pictures look from Egypt? I think they skin match my skin. They definitely don't look like white people drawn on here in black and white. Because if you drew a white person in black and white, they wouldn't look like that. I don't want nobody to be on here being ignorant. But if you drew a white person in black and white, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't look like none of these things, right? But this came before the Bible. And every time you see the Bible's pictures, what they got? Let's go remind ourselves. Oh, okay. So you rather pray to a God, and this is all they showing you the whole entire time. To Jesus, and this is all they showing you. But this right here is showing you your brain and showing you this, which was original knowledge. It's showing you your brain and how it looks exactly like this. And have you in mind, these people used to mummify people. They used to cut people's bodies up and examine their organs so that they could have these kind of things to teach you. They're like, oh, shoot, they created these pictures based on what they discovered when they was mummifying our bodies. But you want to pray to this. Now, the color of the people, because see, the person who painted the picture painted the skin tone, right? But these things could be accurate, but just with the wrong skin tone. I've never seen a white shadow, exactly. If I told you, hey, Moses brought you the Bible from Egypt to cover my white ass in my storytelling, don't you think that would make sense? For all we know, the Bible could have, last time I checked, the oldest Bible was written by Ethiopians who actually had brown skin. Because the Ethiopians interpreted the story of the ancient Egyptians, but they whitewashed the Ethiopians out of the history books. I have no issue with the story of the Bible because it is very similar to the story of ancient Egypt. It is a new man's perception. However, the issue I have is that when they took the Bible from Ethiopians, right, and I dreamed of the book of Enoch in real time. I dreamt it before I even knew about the book of Enoch. I dreamt it. I saw the waterfalls. I saw the house. I saw the crystals. I saw the Ethiopian people sitting outside, and they looked at me like, what's she doing here? And they let me in the doors, and I walked inside of those doors, and I saw a crystal, and it had shit on it. And I had to clean the crystal off, and it was purple. And once I unlocked this crystal, I was able to go into any portal I wanted to go into. That's life. Once you have your higher consciousness activation and you go into your pineal gland, you can go into any dimension you want to. So you can choose to live in a dimension where your son is your everything. Or you can choose to go into a dimension where you have a boyfriend. You can choose to go into a dimension where your mom is like the most important person. You choose which dimension to go into. You have the ability to do so once you unlock your pineal gland. My issue with Christianity and the Bible is that they took that from Ethiopians in the book of Enoch and they turned all the pictures into white people. And they had us praying to white gods during slavery. Because Christianity is 2,000 years old, but it's the Ethiopians' interpretation of what they saw in Egypt, because they have their first temple inside of the mountains that look like what? The Grand Canyon that they don't want nobody to go into. Because that's where all the original stuff is. All right? They don't want us to go into the temples in the Grand Canyon because so many of the temples in the Grand Canyon hold that knowledge that have the Ethiopians in it. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to break it down to the basics. Egypt and pyramids came. Ethiopians interpreted. They turned it into Christianity and gave us Christianity and told us, like, yeah. And then they turned all the people in the book white and then gave it to us during slavery. And they got all of us out here praying to a white Jesus instead of to the original gods, which was nature. Because Mother Nature and Father Time go hand in hand. Hold up. So when you respect the woman that you live inside of, or that your spirit is nested in, the womb, the tomb that you live in, you get happy wife, happy life. It says that in the Bible. But that's the allegory for the aspect of, in spirituality and Egyptian times, the woman whose womb you create your tomb in, as long as you respect her, your life will be pleasant. But if you disrespect the tomb that you live inside of, if you disrespect that womb, your life will be a living hell, because Mother Nature, you live inside of Mother's nature. Whether I agree with you or not, I'm glad to see a woman trying to teach on the internet rather than shaking her behind. Yeah, we're not doing that. No OnlyFans over here. We don't do that over here. No, none of that. No OnlyFans. No, absolutely not. So they say Enoch made us slaves to get gold for them. And do you not see Ethiopian people disrespecting the fuck out of black people and having all these goddamn hookah bars everywhere? Everywhere you turn around, it's the Ethiopian person owning the 7-Eleven. They came to America and took everything. They come over here. People come from other countries and are able to get more loans and benefits and subsidies than black people who live here. It's easy for them to get credit and everything else. So the book of Enoch would still be valid even in that point. Because they came over here and they were like, oh yeah, we gonna run through shit. So whether we want to believe it or not, or respect it or not, or understand it or not, at the end of the day, Egyptian knowledge came first, right? And you see all these different energies around me attempting to break me down and tear me down. These are people who don't want you to know the truth about the knowledge that is expressed within these books that you don't get the chance to read. I enjoyed being here this morning, but I have a floor to tile today, and I've been putting it off for ages, so I should dip. All right, have a good day. I'll see you later. There are more pyramids here in America than Egypt. Yeah, we discussed that. I drove down to Alabama. It's pyramids all in Alabama. It's pyramids all in Atlanta. It's pyramids all around. That's why the argument of deporting these people through ICE. Do y'all understand why ICE is doing what they're doing? It's because they realize that the Hispanics are more native to America than the whites. Hispanic people are more native to America than anybody. even some black people. Us and Hispanics are hand in hand. Because we came from Native American roots. That's why the same pyramids that they found in Maya, Aztec, Inca, which is all in Mexico and stuff, are the same pyramids that are in Atlanta, Alabama, Atlantis, Atlanteans, Atlian, the atlas, the directional space, the place that's supposed to teach you where to go. Because before Pangea broke up, imagine what the country looked like. Imagine what all the continents looked like when they were connected before Pangea happened, before Pangea split. But the one thing is, Mexico and America never split. It's in walking distance. Hold on. What does that remind you of? The Trail of Tears. Oh, wait a minute. So the Mexicans that might have been walking across the border in Texas and all that down there might have been the same people who was trying to get away from slavery during the Trail of Tears, because slavery ended the same time the Trail of Tears happened. So black people and Hispanic people are actually more related than we like to believe. And that's another issue that we got to go ahead and defeat in the world. So I'm sitting here looking at my Hispanic neighbors. They trying to beef with me. They trying to rob me of all my assets and all my everything. Like, yeah, we going to run down on y'all. Yeah, we king. It's like, no, bro. Did you even know that the reason ICE exists is because they want you to fight me? But you don't even realize we're more related than anybody on the face of the planet because y'all are Native Americans. Native Americans were taught that they were black because when we were put in slavery, we were forced to fuck each other. But then some of y'all were able to escape and get down to Mexico and then go down to Central America and other places and trickle down the land before it broke apart, when you were still able to walk across borders before everything split up. So it doesn't matter how Hispanic you are, 9 times out of 10, you're still related to Native Americans, which means you're more related to black people than anybody else. That's facts. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not. That's facts. Native Americans, and if America and Mexico are still connected to this day, and they had to build a border to try to stop them from coming back and forth, and the same pyramids that are in Mexico are the same ones that are in Alabama and Atlanta. And there's a place called Atlantean, the Atlanteans. We literally watched a movie about it, Atlantis. And the atlas helps give you directional understanding of where to go at on this planet. That would mean that the Native Americans, Hispanics, and everyone in Central and South America, because these are Americas that came from the North America, South America, Central America. That means we all came down here during the Trail of Tears to avoid the slavery and stuff. That people transformed and transitioned and started to get ships and try to get away from all the bullshit that was going on in America. We're all related. All that we Hispanics. There's a reason why so many Hispanics look black. A lot of Dominicans look black. There's a lot of Afro-Latinas. Because Jamaica also are people from Africa who had the worst slave trade. They got butt broken the most. That's why no body boy them. That's why they hate gay shit so much, because the shit that was done to them in the slave trade during the raw sugarcane slave trade was the worst. The absolute worst. The most disrespectful. That's why Jamaican people are so anti-gay. So if they brought black people over here and added them into the Native American population, had us fucking each other during slavery, then during the Trail of Tears, sent us off about our business. Some of us traveled down to Mexico, got back in tune with our ancestors. Some people traveled down to Central America, and some people traveled down to South America. That would explain why so many Latinas look like black people and have good curvy body, because we're the same people. We're from the same kind of culture. Originally. We were in the same exact pyramids and temples. They don't want us to know this. This is why ISIS is coming around killing everybody. Because if we figured out that most of the land that we actually own down here, based on where we came from during slavery, which is owed to us, if we got together, if I went to my next door neighbors and told all of them, hey, let's go down to the courts and let's go claim our land through public trusts. There'd be no reason to beef. We're going to claim our land through public trust. We're going to claim what belongs to us through public trust. There's no beef. There's no reason for me to beef with you because, hold on, we're all the same. Why is this not true? Exactly. Why isn't it true? If you can realize that slavery and the Trail of Tears happened around the same time, and the Trail of Tears was sending Native Americans off of U.S. soil to migrate elsewhere. Slavery ended the same time, and Mexico and North America were not separated by border back in the day. And people probably went back that way and then found out how to get down other places and start taking ships and everything else, or were still able to walk before Pangea split more. That's why they call it Central America and South America, because it was connected at one point. Which means people were able to just walk to the land wherever. There was a point in time where you could walk from Africa to America. It's the same fucking body of land. There's a reason why people who are Asian in Nepal look blacker than Africans. Their skin is darker than Africans, some of them. The Nepalese women, some of them are darker than Africans because even they are original to the motherland. We're all the same fucking people. Race is bullshit. All your race is how your body adapted to when the planet split and you had to get readjusted to the sun that you were underneath. There's no such thing as fucking race. The reason why white people hate everyone else so much, and this is not all white people, but some white people, supremacist groups and ICE groups and the government hate other people so much, is because they became melanin deficient because their bodies had them at the Antarctica, Iceland, everywhere else where there was no fucking sun. But guess what that means, y'all? When there's no sun, you can't grow what? Food. There's no life. That's why ice, which is absent of life, which is cold as shit, is coming to kill live bodies. What the fuck are y'all not understanding about what's going on in America right now? That's why people who are melanin deficient hate melanated beings, because where they had to go to, there was no sun, so there was no life, so there was no growing any food, so they were hungry as shit. That's why they started eating humans, eating each other, cannibalism. That's why over in England, they have patents allowing them to grind up human bodies and make burgers, and they're selling human flesh in the grocery store. And you can Google that shit. It's factual. Wake the fuck up. That's why they don't like us, because we also eat the sun. When we go out and we go get in the sun and get a tan, that gives us more life. However, what does it do to them? Burn them the fuck up. Where their ancestors migrated to, they didn't make the right decision. They didn't stay close to Central America because they thought they knew everything. So they wanted to go so separate from everybody else and go north. It got cold as shit. And they ended up in the ice where it was cold at. And they couldn't grow no food. So what did they do, y'all? They went in the mountains, in the pyramids, because the pyramids and the mountains is the same thing. They went in those mountains and they started doing what? Harvesting resources, just like in Avatar, where they was harvesting the cobalt from underneath the tree so they could put the fucking energy in phones and shit. Because that's what they're doing over in other countries over in Africa. They're harvesting cobalt, which is one of the most powerful resources right now that keeps things energized. They go into these ancient trees that have now become crystallized and turned into mountains, because we used to be giants. And they're going to these different places and harvesting the goods and the resources and killing the brown people who are native to the resources, because they're jealous because they don't have no melanin and they burn in the sun. And wherever they migrated to, that their ancestors told them to go to, they froze to fucking death. So they start coming back and say, well, I have this piece of metal that looks shiny, and if you put it on, you'll be a superstar. Wear this chain. We weren't worried about no damn chains and stuff back in the day. That's why when you die, what happens to your body? You get cold. When you start getting cold, it's a problem. You should be worried when you start getting cold. They cut down the female trees because they didn't want everybody to eat for free. So when you coming on here talking about some fucking white Jesus, I'm looking at you like, boy, if you don't shut the fuck up, they took our history and painted it white because they wanted to believe white Jesus. Anything the white man says is true. That's only 2,000 years old. I'm not negating that Christianity is a valid story, but it came from Egypt. It came from Egypt. It came from Ethiopians who interpreted Egyptian knowledge when they were in those mountains, which is probably what's going on in the Grand Canyon, which is the daggone, I don't know, Mecca of all the energy. That's why the energy that when you go to the Grand Canyon, it's never rainy over there. The energy is always high frequency because it's history in those walls, in those Grand Canyons. Stuff that's going to keep you warm. When you know your history, you're going to stay warm. My great-grandmother came to me in dreams. She said, if you go outside of this door and you go out there, you better not open that door. When you leave the tomb, the knowledge of your ancestors is when you start risking yourself freezing to death and dying. When she died, her body was over 100 degrees. Okay? Not everybody gets cold when they die. My great-grandmother, when she died, her body was heated the fuck up. Her body reached over 100 degrees when she passed away. I'm not like y'all. I don't freeze to death before I die. We're not supposed to freeze to death before we die. We're supposed to hit light speed and jet off into the atmosphere. We're not supposed to freeze and decompose. I mean, of course, her body eventually did have to go into the freezer and we did have to dress it up and have a funeral. But when she passed away, her body was over 100 degrees. Over 100. Beyond 100. I'm not like anybody who believes that they're supposed to freeze to death. I'm just trying to remind you who you are. You could be like me. We are the same. If you think like me, if you know what I know, but if you really think that you got to freeze before you die, then you tripping. Have you mind, my great-great-grandmother was pale skinned, but she was Native American. She was native to West Virginia. We owned land in West Virginia, farms in West Virginia, before we sold them off to white people to go ahead and build ski resorts and put ice and snow there. No, she passed away in her own home that she owned. She bought a home during redlining in D.C. That's why I don't want my great-grandfather to sell the house to my grandmother or anybody. That's why he's not passing away, because he already know what my family going to do. They're going to fuck up the history. They trying to sell shit that my great-great-grandmother and her husband had to fight to get during redlining. They was redlining neighborhoods and saying black people can't live here. They had to buy that house at nighttime when nobody was watching, because if the white people saw them buying the house, they was going to leave the property was going to lose value. That's why I act the way that I act. Not because I'm an entitled little stuck up bitch. It's because my great-great-grandmother, I met her. She was 100 years old when she passed away. I was in 3rd grade. I talked to that woman. I was around that woman. I'm around somebody who fought through shit, who was a revolutionary, who went against the grain and bought a home and owned it. And my family still has a house to this day. It's in my body to be a revolutionary. It's in my bloodline to be a revolutionary. I'm not like this because I'm a fucking arrogant bitch. It's because I really know where the fuck I come from. And if a lot of you did the research and knew where the fuck you came from, you would have this kind of passion in you too. The last person I was talking to, they took me off my journey because they was like, fuck my ancestors, fuck my ancestors. What you mean fuck your ancestors? Are you stupid? That's the portal. When a nation of people realizes where the fuck we all come from, we'll heal. When a nation of people remember who the fuck we are, we'll heal. When you stop fighting me as your neighbor and figure out how to work with me and really stand on business against the right people, we'll heal. When my neighbors who are Hispanic stop thinking that they're supposed to just come over here and just eat and rape and rob people of their energy just because they're going to work for a white man that they don't even got no business working for, then we going to understand each other. Because why the fuck you going to that job? If it requires you to do that in the morning to people who look like you, why the fuck you work there? If it requires you to act like that towards other individuals, why the fuck do you work there? If you work at a job that got you treating people like that, why the fuck do you work there? If it requires you to act like that towards human beings, why the fuck do you work there? If you're required to do that to human beings to be able to have enough energy to go to work, why the fuck do you work there? It doesn't matter what color your skin is. Because again, you're signing you're openly signing yourself up for slavery. You're literally saying, I want to be a slave. I'd rather be a slave and then go to my neighbor and stab them in their neck 5 times just so I have enough energy to be a slave for you for 8 hours. You don't have to make bread. If you understood who the fuck you are, you'd be living on this land for free. I have not paid rent or mortgage or anything for 3 years. I've been living in the head of the consciousness of society for free for 3 years. Oh, baby, I done did the groundwork. I done went up to the courthouse and said, I'm not paying shit until y'all fix my apartment, until y'all get this mold out of here, until y'all fix my floors, until my living conditions are exactly what you stated in this lease. I'm not paying for shit. I've done the work. I led a whole entire community of over 400 families into that. What are you talking about? They even started a whole entire community. It's called, shoot, what is this name of the damn thing called? Shoot. Not rapid rehousing. I forget what the name of it is. But I was working with them and they started that group after I started my movement. They started that movement because of me. Now they put a white man in the front line who's willing to, go to bat for black people. So he's one of the faces of it. Early canvassing. Yeah, early canvassing. He's canvassing a new canvas. So we need to understand the power and who we are. So I'm trying to tell you who I am and what I've done and how it's actually worked. 400 families. My neighborhood ended up on the news because there was so much mold, rats, bats in the ceiling, all kinds of that. This is the thing though. And this is why I want to tell you this. This is what white people, for all the white people who are listening to me, who are tuned in right now on a grandiose level, who want to help, who don't want to just be white and be entitled to your white rights, who actually want to do the right thing, not the white thing. You're not scared to lose your whiteness. To all the white people who are not afraid to lose their white privilege again, I'm going to say that again. Let me let y'all know this part of the story. I lived in that apartment building complex, but I didn't have any of those problems. I didn't have not one mouse in my house. I didn't have one roach. I didn't have no bats in my ceiling. I didn't have none of those problems. My apartment was completely quiet and perfect. The only issue I had was creaky floors. Meaning I put my comfort on the line because my apartment was perfectly fine. I put my comfort on the line for 400 other families to get to be comfortable. So white people, if you really want to put your neck on the line, like that lady who got shot in Memphis, that's what it takes. That's what we've been doing for years. We've been doing that since the civil rights. We've been doing that for centuries. That's nothing new, to lose somebody you love in the casualty of standing on business about what's right and what's wrong. No disrespect to her and her family, of course, but that's what the fuck we've been doing for decades, centuries. So it's going to require you to lose some of your white privileges and white comforts in order to help us out to really get this shit moving, so that we can all have our preordained land. It's white people, you can still tan with me. I don't care if you burn up in the sun. I'm not going to make fun of you. But for the ones who get offended by the fact that that's the truth, it is what it is. Now, for the white people who want to come over, to the black, just have some babies with some black people and blacken up your bloodline. You'll be all right. You can save your grandkids. You might not be able to save you from the sun, but you could, crossbreed with some people who are melanated and, get back to the original race eventually. When you really realize what's going on, it's a melting pot. We're supposed to be melting all of our races back into one, like it used to be. That's what the goal is. That's how you save yourself from burning in the sun. Of course, we might not see it in our generation, but eventually that's what the goal is to realize that we're all one and mix it all up. All this, my whiteness, my Indianness, my blackness. Like, okay, that's cool. All right. But y'all do realize that we all came from the same fucking chromosomes, the same idea. It's just we all migrated when the land split up. And unfortunately, white people just transitioned to that place where it was cold as fuck. And they lost their melanin, and now they want to be over here in the sun, but the sun burns them up. They couldn't grow no food, so they brought us rocks and metal and different stuff, and then start telling us about money. We like, money? What's money? What the fuck is money? Nigga, do you have some beans? They're like, we don't have no beans. Do you have flour? We don't have no flour. What do you have? We have this metal that's shiny. We don't need that shit. And when Americans can finally realize and say, we don't need that fucking green paper with a white person's face on it, when the fuck y'all gonna give us the Harriet Tubman $20 bills that y'all promised us? Oh, okay, so y'all lying like shit. Okay, we don't need that shit. We good. We don't need it. What we need is fucking respect. What we need is respect. The same respect that you want when you walk outside and you put your nose in the air because you have cosmic knowledge and you have the wisdom that is in these books from our ancestors and you using it against us. We want that same respect because last time I checked, everything that's life is us. You turn that sun on full strength, we gonna be out there like, damn, yes, finally, oh my God. We gonna be dancing so hard, acne gonna get cleared up. Skin gonna be pure, clean. Brain gonna be functioning. You do know if your brain feels clouded, y'all, look. You might feel how pressurized my mind feels right now. Y'all might feel the pressure on my brain, right? Let me show y'all something. When your mind feels clouded, you know what you do? When your mind feels really clouded, you take your eyeballs and you look at the sun and you let that energy go and hit your pineal gland. And you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you feel that cleansing energy come through and make your brain feel so much lighter. And what color do you see when you close your eyes after looking at the sun? You see blue and green, right? I even see a line that's going up and going to the side. So it's letting me know I'm seeing some nerve endings on my eyes. Okay. When you understand how to sun map, there goes that. That's what it was. It's something on my shoulder. I felt it. Woo! Just from looking at the sun, I was able to see that it was an energy that was blocking me on my shoulder. And the color that you see after looking at the sun is blue and green. Do y'all know what that means, the blue and green? Hold on, look at this book. What color is her skin on this book? Hold on, let me take the background off here. What color is this girl's skin on the front of this fucking book? Where is the sun at? Her heart. Where is the sun at? Her heart. And what's alive? The green trees, the green grass. What's the beautiful blue skies, a reflection of what? The water. When you look at the sun, you look at something else and you see blue and green, which are the two things that are life, the trees and the water. All right, I'm gonna be right back with one more thing. Hold on, let me bring out something else. Cause y'all was, oh God and Jesus, the white man who's dead on the cross is gonna save me. A dead person is gonna save me from living a horrible life right now when we got the power to get up and say, you know what, we got to do something different. A dead white man from 2,000 years ago is gonna save me. A dead man on a cross is going to save me and I'm not against the story, but a dead man on a cross is going to save me. Meanwhile, we actively right here, right now, and we can go do things like use our live bodies to change our reality right now. But we waiting for a dead man on the cross to come back and be like, poof, government fixed. They the ones giving us the religion and praying. You see Trump in the damn church at the Christian event. How they gonna be the ones to come save us if they sitting in the same church that they telling you to go to? If they praying to the same God as you, how that God gonna save you if that's their God? If that's the person that they find they superior to be, How that person finna come back and save you if they in power and they the ones causing the bad shit, but that's who they praying to? Come on, now. Wake up. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. Why are you praying to a cross with a dead person on it? If they praying to a cross with a dead person on it. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Look at this picture. This picture is called the Sacred Woman. Y'all might not know about that. Y'all might know about them Jezebels in the streets. But this is a book about a sacred woman. A woman who understands the earth is this small, my spirit this big, but really I'm really this big. Eternal life comes from the understanding of the sun and the trees and the water, which is the reflection of the sky. Okay, it's all divine. Earth is what colors? Green and blue. Okay, all right. I'm just helping y'all remind yourselves that when you look at the sun, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, you clear your mind out. All the pressure that you felt on your nervous system gets released because your body and the cells in your body become attuned to the sun. So you become the frequency of the sun. So all the pains of earth, which are simply frequencies that they programmed on us through different machines, electronics, cars, the radio, your body is released from those pains because you are able to look at the sun and you're able to be the same frequency as the sun, because frequency is the master, right? So the trees eat from the sun because trees create chloroplasts through the chlorophyll, which is what makes trees green, being produced, and that's how the tree eats. And it needs water, green and blue. Okay, green and blue. Green and blue is the theme here. So looking at the sun resets your body to the sun's frequency. Okay. So stop watching the TV, stop watching the radio, stop looking at Baddies Club, stop looking at all this stupid shit. Stop turning the radio on in the car to distract yourself. Look at the sun. So remember, this is her, right? Okay. Now bring my picture back up. The Earth, which would be, this is Mercury, Venus. The Earth is right here. The Earth is the heart, right? The Earth. This is the eternal infinity of womanhood, because a woman is the eternal energy. Once you plug in with a woman, whatever frequency you give a woman, you get back. You give it, you get it back. You give it, you get it back. You give it, you give it back. You give it, you get it back. It's a circle, it's an infinity sign. Here's Jupiter, which is the creative portal, the sacral chakra, the womb. This also looks like a huge womb, because these are all the planets lined up, because that happened this past year. I don't know if y'all remember, but this past year, all the planets were in a straight line. It happened back in, I think, March or April. All the planets were in a straight line, and you were supposed to align with your partner. So whoever you were dating at that time really is supposed to be your eternal match, you know. Honey, I get that you're trying to fight for Jesus' name right now, but Jesus' name only came about after several translations. The J didn't even used to exist in the language of anything. There was no such thing as a J. It was always a H. But the H sounds like that. There was never such thing as a J. So Jesus, like Hispanics say, original Spaniards, Horus. There was never no Jesus. It was Jesus. There was never a Jesus. So I'm not getting mad. Like, I'm not trying to tell you that Jesus wasn't a real thing, but Jesus isn't the original. Horus is the original. The Horus, Jesus, Jesus, Yahshua, Yahweh. Because when you breathe in and you die, your last breath will say his name. So we're not about to fight about what his name was. The principality is the sun, The sun is the sun, the son of God. Hold up. The son of God. The son of God. The son of God. Okay. So back to sun is life, sun is God, sun is everything. Okay, cool. I'm just making sure we all on the same page. All right. Because the moon over there is feminine energy, which reflects back the masculine sun energy over here. That's why men do what in a relationship? Lead. The daytime, the sun goes up and the moon follows right behind it. Erica Badu. Many nights I was alone. Many, many nights. His light was so bright, so they turned away. And he stood alone every night and every day. Then he turned to me. He saw his reflection in me. I'm an orange moon. I'm brighter than before. Brighter than ever before. I'm an orange moon, and I shine so bright, 'cause I reflect the light of my sun. I praise the day he turned my way, and he smiled at me. 'Cause you see this energy back here? This is a man holding a woman's universe together with his two strong arms. That's why in my dream, when I lost my arms and I was pregnant by somebody else and we was trying to get out the house, I lost my arms. I'm like, why? I got no arms. And I'm pregnant with this man's kid because of this. He is the leader. He is the upper body of the relationship. Women are strong in their hips and their legs. That's why when we do somersaults, we can do handsprings. Men can do tucks because their strength is in their shoulders and their arms, their upper body. They lead. That's why he turned to me and he said to me, they're facing each other. She's facing him. He's turning towards her. They're facing each other. If you look at this from an aerial, it'd be a circular motion between the two of them. His phallus is at the bottom, entered into her womb and all the way aligned to the top. Sometimes we can't understand why a man might beat the shit out of us and say, if you don't just hurry up and fucking listen to me so we could get the fuck out of here. I'm not condoning domestic violence, but I now understand on a different level based on spirituality. I'm not condoning it at all. If that man's beating you, get the hell away. But it's because a lot of men are spiritually aware of a lot of stuff that we don't think that they're aware of. And they're like, bro, if you don't hurry up and follow me, I'm tired of being here. I'm tired of this life. We need to go. It's time for us to astral project and go into our next life. Like you in the way. Hold on, look at this. These hooks, these owls, that OVO and that XO. Hold on. Everybody in the rap game has been preaching about what spirituality is all along. Oh, he definitely has feminine energy. I'm not going to lie about that. He was raised by his mother, for sure, for sure. I'm just saying, I get it now. Because I had dreams about these people. It just sucks that certain people's faces have to be attached to certain lessons in your life. But that's why it's not about the person, it's about the lesson. I'm telling you, hold it, you saying the same thing as me, Emanon. Are you not saying the exact same thing as me? That it doesn't matter. You keep screaming Jesus this and Jesus that. I'm like, I get what you're saying, but I don't care about the name. It's not about the name, because Ganesh in Hinduism is the same thing as Jesus and Horus. And Ganesh came before Horus, apparently, is what they're trying to say. The elephant that's in the back of the brain, so when you take the brain and you split it and you have the stem, it looks like an elephant's nose. Ganesh. So everybody's religion is tied into the actual autonomy of the brain, which is why all religions are simply all the pieces to come together to get you into spirituality and consciousness. It's just you got to take certain steps before you get truly into consciousness. I'm smelling something that smells so sweet right now. I think it might be my body heat heating up this frankincense on my body, but I don't know. It smells so good. Oh, that's just my ex's energy. His energy real hot. He lives next to the KKK. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. But he also has the energy of the sun too. It's just that high. When you vibrate that high, because you really that close to the threshold of death in life, you just hot. He's a devil. People just be hot, baby. People just be hot. Everything Liddy, I love when it's hot. When I need my hot water to get hot, all I got to do is call on his energy, the water get hot. Okay. The sun is hot, right? Oh, no, he definitely needs to do his cleansing of his soul. But, I mean, some people, you wouldn't believe it, but some people actually can get to spirituality without eating clean. Like, eating clean does not determine whether or not you going to be... I had to do it to get there, but it doesn't work for everybody like that. Some people just learn. You got to understand that some people are programmed with certain knowledges long before their time. And just because they're not the God or the king in your reality doesn't mean that they're not the God or king in their reality, because there's duality to it. There's the dark side and there's the light side. So you don't necessarily have to eat clean to master your energy. I prefer to stay where it's cool at. When you're in connection with these people and they have a place to put their energy at, you keep things in the refrigerator to keep them cool from overheating. If that person wasn't in the refrigerator last night, oh, look at who just popped up. Who's in the book that I was just talking about? Erykah Badu is also a sacred woman. See, what y'all don't understand about this book is most of the women that y'all look up to who are black are in this book. Lauren London, Jada Pinkett, Sanaa Lathan, Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, Maya Angelou. I mean, the list goes on. All the greats are in this book. They have met with Queen Afua and became indoctrinated into this system, this belief system, because we as women understand who we actually are. So some of the most powerful female names you know are in this book, especially if they look like me. In Africa, we have people who are able to go into trance state without eating anything. It's just spiritual mastering and understanding of cosmos. We have people who have ancestors talking through them. You acting like that don't exist in America. Again, didn't I just tell you that we have Native Americans? You don't think we were doing the same thing? When slavery was happening, we had to starve ourselves too? And we understood what fasting is. I fasted for 7 days and ate nothing and only drank fruit juice. I even fasted for 7 days and only drank water. That's when I had my biggest spiritual awakening. We also have had to go without food and water. There's children who grew up in poverty who mothers didn't feed them. They had to go through transitional states at a young age. That's why people who are in the ghetto are the most repressed people, because they got spiritual attunements early on in life. My brother stuck a fucking bobby pin in the wall and got electrocuted at 1,000,001 volts so much that the damn whole power in the whole kitchen went off. A lot of people have already gone through their transitional upgrades long ago. It's not just African people that have ancestors talking to them. It's people like me too, who have these symbols and insignias on our foreheads and these different these symbols to show you how to get home. We're all here because we know how to get home. We just don't want to. Our job was to come back and get people. God didn't want us to go alone. If he wanted us to go alone, he would have let us go. But then some of us, like in Buddhism, bodhisattvas, they said, you know what? We gonna come back. Because bodhisattvas are people who can reach Buddha state and go on to the nirvana. But they say, no, I'd rather come back and teach. When I astral projected at my body and I looked at my hands and I only saw stars in space, I said, oh my God. I'm looking at my hand like, what the fuck? Oh my God. But then I was like, oh shit, my son. And I came back to earth and I became a fitness trainer. You understand? A lot of us already have the ability to leave this motherfucker and be gone. It's just we come back because I couldn't stand to leave this earth knowing that my son wouldn't have the knowledge on how to get up out of here. I couldn't stand to leave this earth knowing that certain people would be left behind. But some people are meant to be left behind. We got Harry Tubman in here, Madam C.J. Walker, Angela Evan Bassett, Queen Latifah, Maxine Waters, Katira Knowles, Mesh Connect, Michelle LaVon Robinson Obama is up in here. Okay, period. Seshat. Anukwa Astum. Okay. Nana Ansa Atie, Empress Akiwe, Mary McLeod Bethune, Queen Hatshepsut. That's her name. Okay. Susan Taylor, Ruby D, Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz, Lady Prima, Ayanna Van Zant. Okay, get my life together. Queen Nzinga Ratabisha Eru, Oprah Winfrey, Sarah and Elizabeth Delaney, Sojourner Truth, Dr. Sharon Oliver, Earthlyn Marceline Manuel, Berlina Baker, Queen Afua Mudnephet, Ankh Hessen Pa Atenra, Dr. Alvenia Fulton, Barbara Ann Tier, Queen Nefertari Mess, Erica Badu, Lauren Hill, Nakina Evans, Kathia Et Eru, Lena Horn, Queen Taye, Queen Esther, Debbie Allen, Judith Jameson, Carmen De Lavalade, hey, Carmen De Lavalade, okay? Look, I'm getting there with you, girl. Pearl Primus, Catherine Dunham, Josephine Baker, Chef Lauren Van Der Poel, Amon Rea, Atura Batia, Atura Batia, Cher Cardin, Diane Sission, Isis, Jessica Caremore, Camille Yarbrough, Nikki Giovanni, Edwige Dandicat, Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, Margaret Walker, Nonkululeku Tayemba, Zora Neale Hurston, Jewel Pookrum, Josephine English, Aunt Iris O'Neill, Biddy Mason, and Queen Mother Moore. These are all the women mentioned in this book. You said all these women met up with who? And if you don't mind me asking, Queen Afua. They all met up with Queen Afua. Can you explain a person who hasn't had any dreams since their mom passed away? You need to get in touch with your mom. You need to ask your mom's spirit to come to you. Stop blocking out your mom's death and cry about it. Deal with it. Face it. Once you finally do that, you'll be able to see her because she was your gateway to spirit. If you don't have your mom and that's your gateway to spirit, and you haven't had that spiritual connection, it's gonna be blocked. You gotta open up the spiritual connection to your mother. You gotta open up that spiritual, because I could hear my mom talking to me sometimes. I know she's right next to me. Like I know my mom's sitting right here, like she's right behind me, like right there, looking at me. I can feel it. I can feel it on my shoulder. I know she's there spiritually. So I'm never gonna not have dreams because I know she's there. You have to know your mom is right next to you. You have to know your mom is on the left side of your brain. You have to know. But you have to also introduce and open up that gateway so that still happens. Because most of us don't realize our head is inside of our mom's crotch. Even while we're outside grown, our head is halfway in the hunana. And she don't pull back until she knows that you're ready to be truly born into this earth and stand on 10 without her. Until then, your mom literally has you up inside of her, holding you. That's why your mom, you were like, why mom belly so big? Why my mother ain't got no six pack with the flat? Because you still up in there. She's still pregnant with you. Your energy, keeping you safe. You have a spot in her body that she has to manage and maintenance to take care of you still. That's why her stomach's so big. Don't come up past the 5, as my mom always says. So you got to open up that gateway spiritually to be more connected to your mom. Look, this is, where is she? Go within, she's there. Close your eyes, she's here. Thank you, Divine Mother and Father. Thank you, Ancestor. Thank you, all my guides and sacred sisters. And then there becomes a point in time where your mother got to crawl up inside of you and you got to protect your mama. And maybe you weren't aware of that when she was passing, so there's a bit of a disconnect. Maybe she hoped and wished that you had that connection, and she might have held some kind of resentment for you for not having it. So that's why she feel like she passed, because you didn't hold her close when she was in her last days. But you might not have had the knowledge to do so. That's what I'm channeling. Ooh, it's making me want to cry. I'm sorry. You didn't know, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I'm feeling that mother wound in a lot of different women in my family actually right now that have lost their mother. They didn't know that they could hold their mother close to keep her around longer. They didn't know that they had to hold their mother, even though it's painful. You have to hold your mother close to you if you want to keep her around once you finally grow up. If you want her around, you got to hold her close. Yeah. You have to become a mother of her. You become her mother, yeah. And the world doesn't want you to know this knowledge because, like you just said, they don't want you to know. Because Newt, okay, let's go. Okay, we had a moment to cry, but let's get into something as far as knowledge. Newt. Ooh, this damn mold on this book. I'm gonna scrape this mold off the side of this book one day. Oh, hold on, but just to go back to that picture that I drew, the sun at all times. Okay, at 12 o'clock. Everybody came together. You see them burgers? You see that food? You see all that food they feasting on when the sun is at the middle point? It's in ancient. I drew that off my own type of time, but it's sitting here right in front of your face. They drew that on the walls in Egypt. At 12, that's when the sun shined on everything, and it was time to eat. See that salt and pepper right there? That paprika up there? Them burgers, them steaks. See, he got his fork right there. He about to eat. They eating at 12. Look, the sacred clock throughout your 21 days of experience. Okay, okay, look, I'm just saying, I'm just channeling the message. I didn't even see that. But okay, look, I'm just saying, we're all vessels. When you ready to really get the knowledge, it's right there. I be drawing y'all stuff and then going in this book and then finding it after I drew it. This book was just molded shut. Y'all can see the book was molded shut when I went to jail. The boy poured juice all over my book up. But right there, you're supposed to have different rituals according to the sun. Sunset, ritual, nighttime ritual, midday. All praise to you, As, the great mother. Time reflects through you as the brightest light of midday, when the sun is highest and strongest in the heavens, on earth, and within us, giving us great vitality and vigor. As, I thank you for this potent charge of light from you at the time of day you have set aside for my complete blossoming. Beloved created creatures, help me to stay in tune with time, to be on time with life and with commitments I have made to be shared with the world of time. From 12 o'clock to 21 days. Now that we have entered into the concept of sacred time, we are ready to establish the rhythm of the sacred clock throughout your 21 days. The sacred clock. And this is the picture is called Honoring Sacred Time. I be telling y'all stuff that I remember, but it be right here, and it's like, oh, it's right here in the book to back up what I just channeled. Like, I don't even be reading the book and seeing the pictures, but I be knowing this stuff, and I be like, oh. I'm looking for that picture. And I didn't realize this picture right here. I had drew this, but this was this. This is the same as this. Without a doubt. The woman with the two hands clawing up in the hips. Okay. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's the same thing. You must move from confusion to serenity, from mistrust to trust, from spite to compassion and love, from weakness to empowerment. Okay, look, I'm just saying, it's right here in the book. My grandmother said in that dream, you better not go through that door. Don't open that door. The door was this big in the dream. I'm like, why is the door so big to the house? This door is huge. You see how big these doors used to be? These are like garden gnomes, but if we walk through as humans, we'd be like this big. But to them, these was garden gnomes back in the day. These was the garden gnomes, but they like statues to us. Y'all understand that? That we used to be giants? The Anunnaki? Y'all see it on forehead? Do, 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 do. The symbol be right there on your forehead if you open up your eyes and realize it. It's right there for you. Your husband puts a mark on your forehead when he enters his penis into you and goes all the way through your crown. It marks your forehead so everybody knows who you belong to, or that you do belong to someone. Really, like really, that's an Anunnaki symbol. Okay, y'all want me to show you something else? This right here is a wolf symbol. Okay, I've had many marriages in my life. All right, don't mind me. They all still fighting over me to this day. Why? I understand completely why now. But I try my best to make sure everybody's nurtured, but they also realize that, okay, if you nurture me, or if I nurture you, you got me on the back end, right? Okay, make sure I still eat too. Don't this look like the Anunnaki symbol I just showed you on my forehead? That's the crown of Isis. This is Thoth. The two things that go up, and then this right here. Who is this one? I don't know who that is. I think the other one is Set. Or one of them is Set or Thoth. I know the one in the middle is Isis, though. I'm gonna tell you how sacred I am, right? Just me personally. When I was a kid, I used to do shit on the ground. My legs was always up in the air. It's funny because my grandmother tried to convince me that it wasn't me for some odd reason. I was just like, why would she try to convince me that it wasn't me? She's like, no, that was your sister. That was never you. I used to get in trouble for putting my legs up in the air all the time when I was a kid. I could never forget it. They would come around and smack my legs, all that. Stop putting your legs up in the air like that. Stop. You see, the woman, for some odd reason, is always marked at the throat chakra. I always wonder why I felt such a heavy presence at my throat chakra. Like, I always felt like I was choking. And the moon, or Uranus. And at the ankles. The main points that women were accessed. On the front of this book, she got that collar on, right? That choker. I never understood that. I'm still looking to figure that one out myself. Maybe because women are easier to communicate with the spirit, or we're more able to. I've been looking at all these pictures of wombs, and here's a picture of a womb right here. But look at the picture of the womb. You see how a womb actually looks? And how that looks exactly like this too? So that would be the sun and the moon in the womb of the woman. So when I say you live inside of your mother, inside of her womb-niverse, you live in your mom's womb-niverse. You live in the marriage of your mom and your father. You live within the marriage of those two souls. Okay. All right. All right. Other people can help with, gifts and come and make it easier. But essentially, as a child, you live in the marriage of your parents. So my son lives in the marriage of me and his father. His father's in prison. I'm not in prison, but his father is. So other people might have. Why you got another dude that you talking to? I'm trying to make sure, it's just somebody trying to be nice. I'm trying to add a little extra life into y'all situation because I know that's just got to be hard to deal with. Prison time. But you got to see everything from a more spiritual aspect. And it takes time. I'm preaching from actual experience. People keep telling me, take the shortcut, don't take the long road. Oh, they got stuff about, I'm looking for the picture of Newt. I can't find it for some odd reason. I'm gonna show y'all Queen of Fool in a second. Her picture just popped up. But you see how a woman is carrying a bowl of water on top of her head? But this woman who's feeding tumors and cancer in her body isn't? Okay. Wear your crown and don't forget it. Because grandmother, Newt is the principle of the grandmother in the family. The grandmother is like the energy that holds over everything. Like, it's like another energy over top of the moms. But a lot of times moms be trying to overstep their mothers because, like, well, my mother was a bad mom, so I'm trying to lead her. It's like, that's Queen of Fool right there. She a really pretty woman. I ain't gonna lie to you. I seen her. She's older than, she a little bit older than this now, but I seen her like, she still got her body right. Still looking fine as ever. Yeah. Dang. Yeah, she said, yeah, you gonna see the whole me. I'm a woman. Hey. I know that's right. She said, I did the work. Show them me. Okay. She said, show y'all the whole thing. Okay. So yeah, I got all my eyes open. I did the work. Shout out to her for definitely putting this work into a book. So that as I'm preaching it to y'all, I got something else to back me up. Because this stuff all just came to me, and I'm pretty sure she probably went through the same experiences herself, or us as women, we all go through the same thing. We just don't want to admit it. It's hard to be that woman and break down and be like, me too. See, they sitting in a sister circle, everybody sitting there, leading people out of the things that we've gone through. It's hard to be like, me too. I gotta get up off here though, cause y'all like eating too good. Okay. But men are allowed to read this book too. It's not just, I mean, it's mostly for women, really. It's not really for men. It's men. There's a book for y'all called Man Heal Thyself. But it looks like, it says heal thyself, but it really looks like healthy self. Man, healthy self. Man, heal thyself. Man, healthy self. You'll see it when you really break down the etymology of the word. So shout out to her. That's written by her son, Supernova Slum. He wrote the book because his mom raised him in this. And he even had a life where he was into gang violence and all kinds of stuff and being outside, he said, being like out in the streets. He wouldn't listen. And finally one day something came over him. He was like, I gotta listen to my mom. She knows the way. I'm gonna listen to what my mom says. I'm not gonna listen to what everybody in the streets is saying, my friends saying, I'm going to listen to my mother. And I think eventually all men eventually have that point in life when they realize the value of what a woman's womb can do for them versus when they get shut out of mommy's womb. Because us as mothers, we know how to shut you out. We going to kick you out the house. We going to kick you right out. And you're going to see how cold the world really is without us being over top of you. Having a space up inside of here. But once you leave the house, usually they don't want you to come back. So my issue with my ex is like he just couldn't decide whose house he wanted to live in. And you gotta figure out a house, baby. Like you can't be bouncing around her house and then this house and then that house and then that house over there and that house over there. Like that's too much. Too much. Especially in everybody not in honest, open communication. It's too much. Too much. Now, this is what I was going to say. When I was a kid, I was so in tune that I was already doing this back in 1995, 1996. I was doing this as a kid in my house, just off the rip. Come to find out, this is what you're supposed to be doing. The great womb purge. I was always purging my womb. Something, when I was a kid, I was always doing this. Always. I was always doing these two things as a kid. All the time. Oh, it's me. This frankincense that I put on last night smells good. I'm trying to figure out what smells so good. It's me. I was always doing these things. All the time. My body just knew what it needed to know. Naturally. Maybe I was being studied. Who knows? Was I being studied? Was I being seen? Because it's like, this is what I was doing as a kid. How was this considered the great womb purge? Like, was somebody studying me and then reading off what I was doing and like calling it covenant? This was literally my everyday thing. Like, this was me on the floor every day. My body just knew. So I leave y'all with this, man. Please understand, it's not just God, it's not just Jesus. And there's some original knowledge that y'all need to get back to so that we could all start healing together in unison. So that we could finally, like, you know, get on with the whole entire journey of healing the planet. Because there's too many people out here ready to shoot each other. Like, I had to damn near shoot the whole goddamn neighborhood this morning. I'm like, why the fuck y'all keep coming in my house disrespecting the fuck out of me? I don't want no... It's no beef between me and y'all. Why is it that y'all gotta... Why do you want to... Again, why would you want to work a job where you gotta hurt me in the morning just to be able to have enough energy to get up every day? How did that work? That don't make no sense. So I'm done with giving y'all time because my sky is not as blue as it was. It's getting a little cloudy, so I gotta go ahead and get up off of here because y'all eating real good. And I'm glad that y'all got full of this knowledge and wisdom, but I hope that y'all take the knowledge and wisdom that y'all got here today and y'all go do something with it, like actually activism, something like actually active in your community. Like go find out what your neighbor's first name is. Go find out something about your neighborhood. Go be friends with somebody who you wouldn't usually be friends with. Share this knowledge with somebody. Yeah, run it back. It's here for you. But yeah, you just run it back. Because it's like we don't figure it out that, hold on, Native Americans is actually Hispanic people. Hispanic people and black people is the same thing. It's just we migrated away from each other during slavery and the Trail of Tears. So really, there's no point of us beefing because we all the same. Oh, damn. So I'm glad that y'all enjoyed that tidbit of information, but it's time for me to go. It's been over an hour. And we done learned that Horus and Jesus and Ganesh and Yahshua and Yahweh is all the same person. There's no difference between our religions. It's all the same thing. It's just we had to make it look like us for it to be familiar enough to even engage in it, for us to finally learn that, oh wait, your story is the same as mine? My grandma know your grandma. Iowa. My grandma know your grandma. Dancing by the fire. Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Iowa. My grandma know your grandma. Our grandmas already know each other. So why the fuck we acting like we beefing? Your grandmother and my grandmother was probably on a plantation or a ship somewhere together. All right. My grandma know your grandma. Dancing by the fire. Staying warm. Okay? And it burns, burns, burns in the ring of fire. Okay? Staying warm. She needs more wood for the fire. Sex cry is getting higher. Give her some more money, she be quiet. From a prostitution, no, she won't retire. Also, remember, this is not an OnlyFans page, so shut all them gateways down. That's not what we came to do here. So, yeah, no OnlyFans here. I have a 13-year-old in the house, so no OnlyFans on him. No OnlyFans on anybody up in here. Hope y'all wasn't being nasty and provocative and perverted. Okay. Okay. I'm ready to get up out of here now. I love y'all. I'll be talking to y'all shortly. And hopefully y'all, you know, have a good day today and be safe. Ain't no such thing as be safe as stay dangerous. You know what I'm saying? My mother's supposed to be coming over dropping off a vacuum cleaner though. So it's probably just her pushing through, you know. Got to make sure with the ancestors is good too. If you want to keep them around, we got to hold space for them. So my mother's probably just coming around. That's probably all it is. So I'll be in tune with y'all in a little bit. Y'all make sure y'all go listen to my music on Apple Music too. Get my streams up. Go listen to my breathwork meditation. Go listen to my spoken word. You know, my favorite spoken word is I think it's my paintings 1 and 2. I do, because it's like paintings, like how Jamaican would say paintings, emotions. Emotions, like how you shun emos, like people like to shun people who are emo because they're in their emotions. So paintings, then it's like emotions, and because my brother and sister's Jamaican, so but then paintings of my emotions, like how I'm painting out my emotions. So it's like it's a lot of double entendre in just the title of those 2 albums. But go ahead and go check those out. Also, the poetry for the distorted black woman. Oh no, spoken word for the distorted black woman, and it's womb, W-O-M-B, man, womb man. Oh, here's her son, the one who wrote Man Heal Thyself. That's her son, Supernova Slum. That's her son right there. So that's the one who wrote the other book, if y'all want to go get that one. And I think that's all for now. I don't want to teach y'all too much or say too much today, because what am I going to say tomorrow if I tell you everything today? I think that's why people always leave you on the edge, on a hook. So we'll get more into, I guess, actual rituals to be done through this book. I guess I might be teaching the Sacred Woman book out loud through my YouTube. Oh, look, sacred unions. Oh, my God. With self, with our mate, the beetle energy. We could talk about that tomorrow. All right, we're going to bookmark that for tomorrow. I'm going to read it and talk to y'all about it tomorrow. All right? Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. Remember, protect your backside. Protect your root chakra. Woo! All right. Love y'all. Peace.